Good morning, everyone. So today is April 30th. It is Dewey's Readathon, and this Readathon is one that I do every year. I've done it every year since I was a booktuber, and it just falls in the spring, and it's kind of become a part of my spring rhythm, I would say. So yeah, I'm excited to read today. I always start a bit later because I'm on Pacific time and I'm not going to wake up at 5 in the morning to read. So I just usually start counting the 24 hours based on when I start it, like when I start reading. So what am I going to read today? I've already forgotten the title of the book. I downloaded an audiobook, and the author's name is Torbjorn Eveland, and I will put the book's title here. But basically it is an audiobook about, or it's a regular book about walking. The author developed an epileptic complication that made him not able to drive anymore, and so he started walking everywhere. So it's about that journey of like rediscovering walking and thinking about walking trails and paths. And this is an area that I am really interested in. And some of my work in the past, I wrote an article about walking and its use by artists as kind of like a creative tool for, you know, thinking, but also for processing ideas and things like that. But I'm also really fascinated by the idea of trails pre-colonization of Canada, but also, I guess, you know, pre-industrialization or pre-humans using carts and animals as transport, and more just like walking, and the way that those trails are formed by the feet, and why trails are formed in certain places. That whole idea is very fascinating to me. So yeah, I'm interested in reading this. It's a 4-hour audiobook, so I think I'm going to try to finish it in the span of this readathon, and that will be my book that I can wrap up in specifically for this readathon. And then I'm also finishing my last Aussie April read, which is Terra Nullius by Claire G. Coleman. My plan is to finish this today. Today being April 30th, it's the last day of the month, so I want to wrap up this book. This was one of my April reads. And then I'll also be reading Original Highways by MacGregor, Traveling the Great Rivers of Canada. And I will not be finishing this in the readathon, but I have a separate Rivers TBR that I'm going to be sharing in the month of May, and I'm going to be sharing my strategy for reading through these books in that video. So you'll be seeing me reading a little bit from this. You'll be seeing me reading from Terra Nullius, and I will be listening to the audiobook. I think I'm going to focus on those three. I do have my May TBR here, but I just want to get these ones done within this 24-hour period, or get two of these finished within the 24-hour period, the audiobook and Terra Nullius, and I will start some new books tomorrow. On May 1st, start fresh. So yeah, come along with me for a vlog. Hey everyone, so I'm just gonna do a little check-in. So it is about 11:30. I have been reading. I'm a mess here. Okay, I have been reading for 2.5 hours. I did an hour of In Praise. Why can't I remember the title of this book? In Praise of Paths, by Torbjorn Eveland, and translated. It's actually a translated work as well, and I've forgotten the translator's name, but I will put it here. So it was translated from the Norwegian. I think he's Norwegian. Very, very good. So yeah, I've done an hour of it, and I already have put it on my wish list to order a hard copy. So it's well written, and it has this very great perspective on, the fact that humans were nomadic, this idea that like wandering a path and walking and having that connection with nature, but more so just that ability to move is a very natural human instinct, and one that we don't really have now. We're very sedentary. We live in one place, we work in one place, we get from place to place with a car, so we don't have that. Cars are like a different sense of movement than walking. So really interesting so far. I am at chapter 18 in Terra Nullius, and I realized I didn't really talk about what this is, the plot of this book. It's one of those books that you shouldn't know too much about before you start reading, because I think that's part of the charm of it. So I will say that it is a settler native story. So it's contrasting settler culture with native culture, and it's doing so in the scope of human history and beyond. So I'm going to just say that because I don't really want to reveal more about the plot of the story, because I feel like the plot is important to the experience of kind of the psychological effect that reading this has on you as the reader. So yeah. And then I just remembered that I wanted to read this book today as well. And this is an art book about Tracey Emin. She's a British artist, and it's got essays about her work in it. So I want to get this read this weekend as well. So I'm adding it to my TBR for today for Dewey's. All right, I'll check in again in a few hours. Hey everybody, please excuse my disheveledness today. I'm not in a cute mood. I'm just in a exist mood, if that makes sense. So I finished Terra Nullius by Claire G. Coleman, and this book was really, really good. I think what she was able to do with this book is create parallels in realities that are kind of gateways through which people can enter into different types of thought. So you living in North America or Australia or New Zealand, but really, or India, any country that has had a colonial invasion. The themes in this book, because it came out in 2017, I think. Let me double check. 2017. So I know in 2017 a lot of the themes in this book would have been very new to me. Reading it right now in 2022, these are very front of the line topics that most Canadians, I would say, are aware of, have heard about at this point. And I think when this came out, it must have been quite a sensation for people to read things through this language and get these perspectives, for maybe the first time. So to me, the storytelling and how Claire Coleman brought the story to life, and the ways she used different genres. I really don't want to reveal much about the plot and how the plot moves and the way this book was conceived, because I think, you know, you need to go in blind, I think, to really get the full effect. But the way that she wove it, I think, was so powerful for me, and I think it really told the story. It was able to shift my brain, who's already familiar with these ideas, and it shifted like the broader picture in a way that I think is really important, and in so many ways and so many levels of settler, colonial, and indigenous relationships, and in how those past atrocities are reconciled or not, how they are recognized, how they are healed to move forward, all those types of things. This book is a really important part of that conversation. So yeah, really, really glad that I read this, and I think that it just has an important place in colonial literature in terms of what it's trying to say and in how it's trying to say it. I think it has an appeal in many ways to a broader type of reader than the same thing in nonfiction might have, just because of the way she put the story together. I think it also would be really great as a book club read. I think you would get a lot of conversation out of this, and you can take it in many different ways. And I think, yeah, if you don't live in a society, a colonial-based expansion society, it may not be as clear-cut for you. You may not have the same language around what this is saying, but if you're well read, then I think that you would, you know, get it. So yeah, I finished Terra, Nullius, and I am going to get another chapter. I did read also a chapter of Original Highways read this morning, so I think I'm going to read another chapter of this, and then I'm going to listen to another hour of my audiobook. And that is going to be my my reading for the next couple hours. Hi everyone. Sorry, I have chocolate in my teeth. I'm going to wrap up this Dewey's vlog. It is actually Thursday today, so I finished reading In Praise of Paths on Tuesday, I think Tuesday evening, and it was really interesting. It was a really interesting book. I enjoyed it. I think that I always enjoy reading perspectives such as the author's of Eveland's perspective, someone who has been challenged to look at the world in a different way, and his epilepsy diagnosis did that for him. And I think that it also brings into question really interesting ideas about ability and accessibility. So if you're thinking about a path and what that means physically to walk in relation to someone who isn't able to walk, so someone in a wheelchair or someone who has challenge walking and can only walk short distances or things like that. And I don't think those ideas were really explored in this book. And that wasn't really the point of what he was saying. So when you're talking about going back to or connecting with the kind of nomadic roots, then you have to think about what that type of society would have meant for someone who isn't very mobile, and how that would have affected their experience of living in a tribe, in a group, millions of years ago in our evolution. So there's a lot there to think about in this short book. It's only about a 5-hour audiobook. So yeah, I think it was a good book to pick for a readathon. And Dewey's is obviously very over, and I hope you enjoyed this vlog. And I will be back again soon with another video. Thank you so much for watching.